You're watching WNBC for New York. And now, Ralph Penza, Perri Peltz, Janice Huff, and Vince DeLisi. This is News for New York at 6.
Good evening. Ralph and Perri are off. I'm Joe Avellar. Will they strike? City school bus drivers are threatening to walk out if the mayor and school's chancellor take away the bus drivers' guarantee of a job for life. The mayor says it would save the city $200 million. News 4's Odzer reports.
New York spends more on school transportation than any other city in the nation. To save money, school's chancellor Ramon Cortines wants private school bus companies to go through a competitive bidding process to win contracts from the city. Mayor Giuliani had urged Cortines to take that route.
What I'm saying is there should be protection for the taxpayers of the city against exorbitant charges. And the competitive bidding process that's been stalled for almost a decade now is the thing that will give us protection for all of the people of the city, including the children of the city. That's my concern, all of the people of the city, not to lock in some sweetheart deals.
The school bus drivers, represented by the Amalgamated Transit Union, are threatening to strike. No one from the union would talk to us today, but the union prefers the status quo, especially the lifetime job guarantees currently in place. Cortines wants to eliminate those expensive guarantees. School bus drivers make up to $17.71 an hour, shop employees make up to $20 an hour, and escorts make up to $9 an hour. The price tag for the city is $385 million. The school budget deficit is $773 million. A strike would affect about 6,000 workers and roughly 150,000 of New York's public school students for the remainder of the school year. But Mayor Giuliani says if it should come to a strike, the city is ready with an alternative plan. Instead of school buses, the city plan would use police, transportation, and parks department vehicles to shuttle kids to school. The Board of Education votes on the Cortines proposal next week. In Jackson Heights, Odzer, News 4 New York.
School bus drivers last struck in 1979. That strike was violent. Police in New Jersey arrested a man and charged him with murdering his mother, girlfriend, and his best friend. The bodies of 2 women and 1 man were found in 3 separate locations in Burlington Township and the city of Burlington in southern New Jersey. Police arrested Hugh Miller in the town of Pittman in Gloucester County at about 2 o'clock today. They charged him with the murders. Prosecutors say jealousy may have been the motive. On Long Island, a deli clerk is in serious condition tonight after being shot during an apparent robbery this morning. Police say the 36-year-old victim was working in the Hempstead Stop and Go when an unidentified man asked him for change of a 20. As the clerk opened the cash register, the suspect shot him in the head and fled, leaving the $20 behind. An independent autopsy of a Brooklyn teenager killed by police in March shows the boy was shot in the back of the head at point-blank range. That's according to New York Newsday. 16-year-old Young Won was one of 3 teens the cops found when they responded to a report of men with a gun in the driveway of a home in Sheepshead Bay. Police say Wong was shot when he fought with Officer Stephen Misrati. The Wong family's attorney says the autopsy shows no sign of a struggle. Should he stay or should he go? Irish activists are trying to prevent the deportation of fellow Irish activist Gabriel Magehi. But the U.S. government wants to ship him home. News 4's Chuck Gomez reports.
There is no purpose to be served in continuing to persecute Irish Republicans and their families by deportation hearings.
In a driving rain, the voice of the Irish civil rights movement addressed a rally outside Federal Plaza. It was one of several rallies held around the country, demonstrators demanding amnesty for Irish activists like Gabriel Magehi, now facing deportation.
I'm here today to protest that on behalf of myself and numerous other people and their families that have been put under this arrest.
Not only means that they're going to send me out of my country, but it means that my wife and kids who are American citizens are either going to have to stay here or be put in danger of being assassinated back over in Northern Ireland.
Since August, when a ceasefire in Northern Ireland seemingly put an end to 25 years of bullets and bombs, activists like Devlin, now attending demonstrations in this country, claim the war against Irish activists in the U.S. has only escalated.
There has actually been an increase. There are now 20 Irish people facing deportation hearings that basically were gathering dust for a long time.
The demonstrations come at a time when British and U.S. leaders are mending fences in the wake of the ceasefire and the U.S. admission of Sinn Féin leader Gerry Adams.
And every time that we win, the government has appealed, and I want to know why. I want political asylum.
Bernadette Devlin's re-emergence comes as the Clinton administration takes a public stance saying it wants to speed along the Irish peace process. But these demonstrators think the president is doing just the opposite, taking a pro-British stance in a number of cases related to the Irish conflict. In Manhattan, Chuck Gomez, News 4 New York.
McGahey has lived in New York City for 20 years. He's married to a U.S. citizen. Well, it may not be time to walk alone at night and wear jewels, but crime continues to decline in New York City. The mayor predicts New York may drop from the FBI's list of the 50 most crime-ridden cities. Mayor Giuliani says serious felonies dropped 11.7% in 1994. That's the largest single-year decline in more than 2 decades. And the trend, he says, is continuing. Last year, New York ranked 47th on the FBI's list of urban per capita crime rates. And here's a good story for you. The mystery of Buddy the traveling dog has now been solved. The shaggy shepherd mix turned up in Colorado last March, 3 days after disappearing from his Long Island home. Turns out 2 guys moving from Long Island to Colorado spotted Buddy roaming. Thinking he was a stray, they adopted him. By the time they noticed his dog tags, they were so far along, they figured they'd just call his owners once they got to Colorado. But Buddy gave them the slip and was finally rescued by the local Humane Society. And now he's home. Well, just ahead on News 4 tonight, Florida's lottery soars past the $80 million mark. We're live in Miami where thousands of tickets are selling every minute. With April 17th just a week away, we've got tax relief for the tax-weary. That's just ahead. And Easter comes to Radio City, courtesy of the Rockettes.
Mayor, please
Stay tuned.
accept the gift from all your friends at Radio City Music Hall. Thank you very much. Enjoy the show.
Believe it or not, the Major League Baseball season starts in a few weeks, but today was the start of the Little League season in our area. Up in East Harlem, Little Leaguers and volunteers from the Cellular One Company worked on renovating this field of dreams. Volunteers laid sod and spruced up the field, and in about 4 weeks, the sounds of play ball will be heard on that diamond. And of course, Vince is here right now to tell us. Sports aside, you got Florida Lotto tickets, huh?
Yeah.
Share the wealth.
I have to admit, I got...
You gonna split it up?
5. We'll talk.
We'll talk. Yeah, right.
See how much you want to give me. Well, lots of news coming out of baseball. And here's some of it. The Cleveland Indians, who had complained about the Yankees signing players, they signed free agent Oral Hershiser, would spend his entire career with the Dodgers, a 1-year deal plus an option. And the Colorado Rockies signed righty Bill Swift, who was with San Fran last year, and outfielder Larry Walker as well. The Marlins signed Andre Dawson to a 1-year contract. The White Sox, they take Jim Abbott, Mike Devereaux. The Yankees came to terms with Deion James, a 1-year deal. Mets quiet today, but are very happy with the squad they've assembled so far. Storm clouds over Florida, but not at Mets camp. They're ready to go and excited about the addition of Pete Harnisch to the staff.
I think this team is headed in the right direction. I know they've had some down years, but I think things are going to turn around. I know that they're committed to make the effort to get the Mets back up to where they were in the middle to late 80s. And, I just want to be a part of that.
It's a sign, says Bobby Bonilla. The Mets are serious about being contenders.
I think it's a great compliment to McIlvain and Wilpon and Doubleday that they're making a tremendous turnaround.
So with Pete Harnisch now in the fold and John Franco once again a New York Met, it's business as usual.
I came in, put the music on, get everybody loose, keep everybody loose. I'm contemplating one of my pranks right now. I'm just waiting for it to get going on the eye doctor.
Or anyone else who's around the club, especially any new Met. So Pete Harnisch better watch out. Lost but not forgotten with all the big-name talent moving around, Orioles star Cal Ripken, still a Baltimore Oriole, and still chasing Lou Gehrig's record. Cal's in camp getting set for what should be their record-setting season, and he contends he won't worry about it. The record will take care of itself.
I don't set out in the sense to do what I do to extend the streak. Maybe that's really what it boils down to, that I go out and approach things the way that I do because I believe that's what is right and that's who I am.
NBA action tonight. The Knicks hosting the Pistons and the Nets playing out this string. They're hosting the Heat. To hockey and the Rangers. Boy, they have their problems. That killer instinct just doesn't seem to be there this season. They lost to the Islanders last night. Bruce Springsteen, wife Patty, joined Susan Sarandon and Tim Robbins, along with the sellout crowd, to check out the hockey action. But it was the Islanders who did the bossing around. Islanders in blue. Travis Green's rocket from just inside the blue line beat Mike Richter. A shot that the Ranger goalie admitted he should have stopped. Score tied at 2. Green tied the score at 3. Late in the same period, Richter and defenseman Matthias Nordstrom got their signals crossed. And the Islanders' game winner came on yet another Ranger miscue. Jeff Bukaboom can't clear the puck, and that's an understatement. The Isles say thanks for the gift as Ron Sutter scores it. Isles now 2-0 against the Rangers this year. 4-3 the final of that one. The Islanders have won just 2 of their last 13, both against the Rangers. Isles hosting the Panthers tonight. This afternoon, Hartford beat Buffalo 4-2. Boston over Tampa Bay 5-1. To golf and the Masters, action still ongoing. The leaders so far, Ben Crenshaw, Brian Henninger, both in the clubhouse, tied at 10 under, followed by a group of players at 9 under, including Phil Mickelson and Fred Couples. To the track and the Santa Anita Derby. And in this one, we find out the favorite from next month's Kentucky Derby, Dave Johnson with the stretch call.
Who's making a late move, and down the stretch they come, the undefeated Afternoon Delights with Kenta Sormo, digging in on the inside, on the outside, Larry the Legend, inching up into the second spot, far outside, Jumron, through the stretch and to the wire, it's going to be a photo, too tight to call.
Well, we'll call it for you right now. Larry the Legend, the horse in the middle, won by a nose, paid $13.60 to win. To boxing and the WBC heavyweight title bout tonight as Oliver McCall defends his crown against 45-year-old Larry Holmes, part of a 5-title fight card from Caesar's Palace. And who better to comment on the fight than Mike Tyson?
Good fight now. Fighting Larry Holmes is not an easy task. He's very experienced. He's cagey. He's still at this stage that he is now. He has an excellent left jab, and it can be very difficult for Oliver. But then again, Oliver is very determined, strong. He's hungry. He wants to keep the title that he has, and it could be a very interesting night.
And the women getting physical in the boxing ring and the tennis court. Women's match at the Golden Gloves. Denise Lutrick, a history teacher from my alma mater in Mamaroneck. She's in the gold. Of course she won, beating Catherine Collins. I'm glad she wasn't around the halls when I was cutting classes. Boy, take a look at that. She would have really done it into me. Now let's go to tennis and Sabrine Hack in the near court versus Gabriela Sabatini at the Bosch and Long Tournament in Florida. But watch out, Gabby, as the backhander just whizzes by her head. Hack won the battle, but she lost the war. Sabatini won the match in straight sets, but here it comes. Oh, man, Duck, watch out. You know, I was thinking too, Joe, maybe we could get Janice involved in the Golden Gloves next year. What do you think? Yeah. That's wrong right here.
Now, I was wondering, if I see you here at 11, it means you didn't win.
Right.
Okay. Well, we have some more just ahead on News 4. Easter in New York. We've got a sure sign of the season coming up. But first, Janice is here to explain what happened.
I'm going to try and explain what happened today. We had a few flakes flying, and it wasn't Vince's dandruff. We actually had some snowflakes around the area today. And a little bit of rain, too. It's a crazy spring. I'll tell you more as News 4 continues with the forecast. Here's a look at tomorrow's weather for the country.